and welcome to Challenging Torah, a project of the Malibu Jewish Center and Synagogue. The founder of the Reconstructionist movement, Mordecai Kaplan, had the famous statement which said, "Judaism is an evolving civilization." In other words, the Judaism that you had 2,000 years ago may have roots, but not be a mirror of the Judaism that we have today. And who knows where our Judaism is going. We are an evolving and ever-dynamic civilization. And so we shudder at the thought of people bringing little lambs and pigeons and sacrificing them on an altar and burning them up. It just seems so barbaric to us. But again, this is what the peoples around the Israelites did. And after the incident of the golden calf, God probably figured, well, better that they sacrifice to me than to other gods on other altars. But as Maimonides has said very eloquently, this system really was a transitional system. God really wanted us to serve through good deeds, through prayer of our heart, not through bringing a lamb and making it into roast lamb for God. This was the system, and abruptly it came to a halt. The fall of the temple in 70 Common Era. The sacrificial system was no longer accessible to the Jewish people. Their entire sacrificial world was vanished. And so they took their prayers of the heart, and they took their good deeds, and turned it into the civilization that we have today. But before we discard it totally, let's look at that system, because there are many remnants of that system in their essence that really apply to us. How did that system work? It was divided into several different classes of sacrifice. One was the olah, and the word olah means to rise up. And what was to rise up was the odor, the fragrance of whatever was put on the altar. Everything was to be burned to ashes. It was a total sacrifice. And often the person bringing the sacrifice was asked to actually perform the sacrifice with the priest there to say the proper words. It hurts to give up your favorite something. You couldn't just put fish or game that you found. It had to be something of yours, and it had to be perfect. And as we look at that olah, it's all about fragrance. You couldn't afford a bull, you could bring a pigeon. You couldn't afford a pigeon, you could bring a handful of what was really semolina flour with a little bit of frankincense mixed together, a handful dropped into boiling olive oil. Smells really good. Maybe the sacrifice really was the fact that it smelled like a bakery and you didn't get to eat it. We've all been in food sacrifices before. The point of the sacrifice, however, was not for a sin or not for something that you wanted to even specifically say thank you for. But this was the sacrifice that allowed you to know you could make a connection. What if we could just directly connect with God, knowing that we'd come put something on the altar and God would be there for us? We've missed this. We don't have a ritual. Rituals are very important in our lives. And so this was the connection ritual, the olah. Then there was the shlemim, which were sacrifices of well-being and happiness. Anytime that this happened, the priest had certain parts that they ate, but the rest was shared with everybody around them. And so imagine a feast at a bar mitzvah, a wedding. We still do this. We celebrate with food. But this food was sanctified first and then shared with everyone in a holy space. The sacrifices that we are most familiar with are the ones that have a resonance in Yom Kippur. These are the chatat and the asham. These are for either chatat is an inadvertent sin or the asham, something I've really done wrong. These are the things that are perhaps not legally wrong. The court says you're free, but they're wrong before God. These are the things you know are wrong. If you have made a transgression, even in a business dealing, you are required to repay 1/5. It's not that you don't have a court, But at the same time, what do you do with these feelings that you have? And what about the things that, you walked away free, but you're still unsettled? This is where the sacrifice comes in. This sacrifice was also eaten by the priests as well. We do this, to some extent, on Yom Kippur. We say Yom Kippur is about putting our hands on a lamb, really, a goat, and there is the story of the 2 goats that are sacrificed. But we bring what we don't want to bring into the next year and put it on the altar on Yom Kippur. And we hope that it will be burned away. One of the very famous Hasidic commentators, Noam Elimelech, makes a great play on words, which is, of course, a pun in Hebrew, where after the beginning of this Torah portion, it says, "The burnt offering shall remain where it is burned on the altar all day and all night, and then the priest shall dress in linen clothing and take out the ashes." You're kidding. We get dressed up to make a costume. We make a costume change in order to take out the ashes? But we do. And he makes the play on words of midah, which is a quality, and mido, which is garment or fabric. And we look at midah. A midah is our inner quality. And we want to change that inner quality. We want to strip ourselves from those qualities that even perhaps we were born with, that we don't want to carry through all of our life. Anger. We can't just put it on the altar and say, I'm never going to be angry again. What we do is slowly, slowly, the fire keeps burning. We keep it on the altar, and it burns away that which we don't want. We ask on Yom Kippur that we be changed into a new place where perhaps our true self is revealed and not the qualities that we carry that we don't need them anymore. We don't need the negative stuff. This is Purim. Purim, we put on a costume, but we say it is nistar, the hidden is revealed. May we, on this Purim, dress as our true selves and find our true selves. That is the challenge, to walk our lives as clean and as clear as we possibly can. Chag Sameach.